of Handful of Purple Sky, which is a story about her brush with cancer, as Neha just told you, and that was about 3 years ago. Mridula ji, thank you on behalf of Amaryllis and Club Literati and all those present here for writing this book and sharing your journey of last 3 years with us today. I understand this journey is very close to your heart, and we'll know today how close it is. It takes a lot of courage, let me tell you, friends, to talk about our inmost fears, about our emotions that prevail or had prevailed in the past on our reason. The trauma and a number of side effects, and Neha just mentioned to you the kind of side effects, the kind of trauma that you faced. So the after effects, not just the side effects, but the after effects that a person goes through right from the time of the diagnosis till the completion of the treatment, and even after that. They're sufficient to test a person's threshold of faith and tolerance. So the unraveling of the mystery of the universe and our own being. So it goes on, like something that it will never, go away. It will never be taken off one's psyche. And the several game-changing tricks of destiny, the constant flow of unanswered questions about oneself and life in general. And not to forget the kind of sad helplessness in allaying the fears of your loved ones. I mean, there are so many instances in the book, you will find that how Mridula ji, constantly was in the grip of those fears. So all these issues, they are a formidable part of the lives of patients who unfortunately have to live or, who have lived with or still living with a major life-threatening disease like cancer. In retrospect, we all know how things, look different. They may, we may smile at our anxiety. There are certain episodes in the book, where I'm sure Mridula ji would be smiling, like thinking about them. So these anxieties, in retrospect, we can smile at them, but then, it happens when things turn for the better. But how a person can live sanely through the difficult times is something that is truly amazing, inspiring, and such stories, I believe, should be heard. And Mridula ji is one such person who has emerged as a survivor, a warrior with scars, as she herself puts it beautifully. She's put it, how a person gets back from the battlefield with a scar, so that they are actually the signs that you have fought and you have come back, like a victorious person. So, and she came back, nothing but a stronger after the battle she fought so bravely. So with us, Mridula ji, we will share her little nuggets of wisdom that change the color of her sky to a beautiful purple. So Mridula ji, welcome to this, little chat that we're going to have today. And I'm sure all of us are privileged to be listening from you, how bravely you fought this battle. So tell me one thing. I mean, my first question, is probably a question which so many people must have asked you before. So you are a prolific writer. I just want to know, you have written different kinds of fiction, different books. So how different was your experience of writing this book? Was the purpose, and more importantly, the feelings that went into the making of this book, was it easy in the sense of its truthfulness? When you don't have to make up plots, you just have to write what just happened with you. So it becomes easy in that sense, that is what I mean by easy. So was it easy or difficult? Because you made, yourself bare to public. to people, you know, who do not know you, but still they would be knowing some, you know, those innermost recesses of your mind and, you know, feelings, heart. Yes, Madlaji.
Writing this book was not at all easy, and in fact I had never decided to write it. I was prevailed upon by Chini, that is Mrinalini, my daughter, to write it down, because she said that anybody who's faced with such a thing, they feel very upset, and they don't know how to go about it. So if you write down your experiences, that could be motivating and inspiring to others. And it was purely her idea. In fact, I never wanted to talk about my illness also. And I think most of the people who are here, unless before the book was kind of came up in print, and before kind of Amaryllis started putting on their Facebook and Instagram, people wouldn't have known that I have come out of such an ailment. So it was purely Chini's idea. And of course, when I sat down to writing it, I penned down my thoughts. And as I had traversed the journey, that is what it is. And of course, editing being done by my editor Vidisha Srivastav, it's my personal account. And once I got down to writing it, I finished it in about, say, 3-4 months. And of course, the book took long time to be released because of the pandemic. And I think it came as must have come as a surprise to a lot of people, because people didn't know. Of course, I think Seemaji knew about it. Chini had told you in between, because I was taking a lot of precaution, and she was also at home most of the time taking care of me during the pandemic. So that's it. And I think I feel very happy now that I wrote it, and Vikas ji was nice. So it was nice of him to publish it, and even I would say nicer of you to bring it on this platform of Club Literati.
Thanks, Brotherji, for giving that, you know, the kind of background to the book and the inspiration behind writing this book. So Mrinalini is right here, and we all know how, you know, beautifully she has, you know, accompanied you. She's been with you throughout your journey, as your book tells you, tells the other readers. Now, Mridladija, one very significant thing which stands very, you know, significantly while I was reading the book, and also mentioned by Mr. Pramod Kapoor, Rolly Books. You know, he calls you in his foreword, he calls you an incorrigible optimist. And to be one in difficult times, you know, requires either one's own willpower or a good amount of love and care from one's family and friends, or, you know, great support from the doctors. All along your journey, there are instances of support system around you, which you have beautifully brought out, and with a lot of gratitude. I must congratulate you, and I must say you have been very fortunate to have the kind of family and friends and the doctors. So, I think you got very lucky here. So what do you have to say about this? I can see so many of your friends who have joined in. I can also see some doctor friends also here. So I'm sure they're happy to see you with this book.
Initially, when the disease hit me, it was a big shock. And I'll be very honest in admitting, I think for 2 days I cried and cried. Then I was up and about, and I thought that I have to do it. Mr. Vikas Rakhija was one of the first persons to know of it other than my family. And when I called him over to my office and I told him that this has happened to me, so then he said very inspiring things to me. He said, see, you've got to live for your daughter. Of course, your family is very important, but you've got to live for your daughter. And I'm sure you'll be able to complete this journey. You'll be able to cross over from illness to recovery. And that's it. And he also provided a lot of infrastructural support to me in Delhi when I underwent my this thing treatment. because I had kept my illness a secret. I didn't want to tell a whole lot of people because I was, I don't know, a bit this thing. Confident. I wanted to keep it confidential. I didn't want to disclose it because I never wanted to kind of see that pity and sympathy in people's eyes, you know. So that's it. And Vikas told me this thing, and I then decided, I knew that I have to do it, and I'm sure I'll be able to do it. And I'm very thankful to God for bestowing his blessings on me, that here I'm here today. We are releasing this book, and had it not been for his blessings, and whenever tough times came during this journey, I knew that God, you are always there for me. And of course, the support of my family, the excellent doctors I got, my friends, and my seniors, my colleagues, my seniors in Delhi for kind of retaining me at Bhopal on my promotion. So that all helped. I can only say that problem or trouble or illness came from one side, and support, help, love, affection poured in from so many quarters.
So that's very, very poignantly brought out by you. The kind of care that you got from your sister and your daughter, your husband. So you have very, I would say, very systematically mentioned each one of them and the role that they played during your illness. So that's Mridalji, I think you have talked about your faith in God. You would always thank God. So I think this is a good opportunity. I mean, of course, this is a deadly disease, but I would say that when one gets an opportunity through this medium to understand what bonds are, what love is, and what relationships are, how one feels, I mean, it takes you to much greater depths than otherwise, a person would generally be exposed to. So this is again, when I, look back, when I read your book, I was just rolled back in time. And all those emotions that you have mentioned, all those, fears that you have mentioned, they just, I feel they are universal, they are so universal with patients of such diseases. So this is something which I feel it is bound to happen, that when you go through tough times, you get to understand the real you, the real others, and the kind of the blessings that we are endowed with, the kind of the kind of compensations that we get in life. So this is, of course, I'll come to that question later. But let me just now come to the title of the book. So I would like to know from you, what was the thought that went into the title of the book, A Handful of Purple Sky. We know the color of the sky is relatable to our condition. हमारा जब मन दुखी होता है तो हमारे को आसमान इतना काला और ग्रे नजर आता है. खुश होते हैं हम तो उसका कलर बदल जाता है. So we generally refer to sky as an extension of our emotions. We give it the color dark, bright, or blue, or black. In your case, it is purple. Why purple?
Seemaji, I'll tell you that as I was living through these days, and when I would go for my chemo and would be in hospital for 4 to 5 hours, and at times even more. So I had a lot of happy memories to fall back upon. And primarily my memories were as a child, as I was growing up. I was reminded of the jacaranda tree. I used to play under the jacaranda tree, and I would pick up those blue and purple flowers and bring them to my father, and give it to him. And he would take them and kiss my hands and say that I have a handful of purple sky in my arms. So that's how the title.
So I find your memories, of your childhood and Sagar especially, they play a very important role in your life. I mean, uh, the times that you were undergoing your treatment, and I think the back of your mind, you have your childhood so very prominently, um, kind of there, present there. So. How does Sagar, now now that you've talked about you know your times with Nana, I mean, you have mentioned your Nana who played a very important significant role in your life, and you still have those vivid memories. So how Sagar comes into this journey, and what kind of role does role it plays?
Seemaji, I would say that Sagar is the city or town, and St. Joseph's Sagar, the city and the school, they have made me. And I have very pleasant memories of Sagar as I was growing up. I would like to remember those gypsy caravans, that Budiya ke Baal Wala, then Gudiya ki Shadi, my friend Dr. Harsh Mishra in Sagar, I can see him on the screen, that he read out so many comics to me, so many stories to me. So, and I would always think of my childhood, because I think the childhood memories are the happiest. You have no worries, no tensions, no care, nothing. And as I was undergoing treatment, आगे तो बहुत ज्यादा कुछ दिखता नहीं था, बस ये लगता था कि रास्ते पे चलते जाना है, पीछे देखने को बहुत कुछ था. And of course, I have memories of my Nana coming and staying with us, because I lost my father at a very young age. I was almost a kid. So, and why I think I hid my illness, because he would always say that when you are kind of going downhill, when you are feeling low, that you shouldn't be speaking about or to everyone, and must face it on your own. And I have quoted Rahim Das there, Rahiman Nijman ki vyatha man mein rahiye koi. So I think that was also somewhere at the back of my mind. And my grandfather Nana would always say that very old proverb, which has that tough times do not last, but tough people do. So I think all that helped a lot in putting up this, I won't say fight, with this endurance it gave me. And
Right. So, and that's very rightly said, Mridula ji, that whatever period of our lives we are in, childhood memories, play. They are embossed so beautifully in our psyche that they are difficult to part with. And even in your direst of circumstances, they come like a flash, and that's very beautifully brought out in the book. When time and again, you would go back to those memories, to the kind of um, childlike activities that you would like to do now, and also relate to whatever the games that you would play, those children's games you would play. So all these, they I think the kind of you talked about endurance, so carrying the innocence of childhood to our the time that we are in, the kind of age that we are in, is something that it gives a lot of strength, and also keep us kind of allied to the times of innocence, of the time that we probably would like to think all positive, nothing negative. We don't have any any grudges that way, just as the innocence of a child. So it's a I think through this book you have also tried to, I mean, this is what I feel personally, is that how you would like to draw the attention of the readers, probably, that carrying memories of childhood, good or bad, whatever they are, in whatever form, it's something necessary. It's something necessary. So that's exactly probably what you have contributed in bringing out the ordeal, the connecting that ordeal of your present times with the past. So, Mridla the book reads like a like a diary, you know, and with with the everyday details going into that narrative. Now, I find it very interesting, you know, when I find those small details from the kind of expression that you would see on your secretary's face or on the face, you know, how the guard would respond, or how you would respond to his greetings, to a very minor thing like a nurse taking out that injection and, you know, just getting ready to inject the medicine. So all these moments you have actually written, you know, they you have um, put down on paper. Now all these little very minor things, they appear to be very insignificant to a normal healthy life, you know, but they assume momentous status, you know, when you are undergoing through that, you're undergoing that kind of anxiety. I remember, you know, one of the instances, you know, when you had gone for your sonography, you know, and then later for your mammography, the you know, you were constantly looking at the expressions of the doctor. I mean, this is a very common experience, you know, and the kind of the period, you know, that the time that it takes for the doctor to tell you what is probably, you know, going to happen to you, or what is the outcome of that test. I mean, there's the whole eternity is kind of packed in that. So this is, you know, these anxiety, these times of this, you know, those moments, those minute details with those moments, they lend a very, you know, they lend a compelling intensity to your narrative. You know, not writing about all big things, but there's minor things, small things. So how easy, I would like to ask you, Mridlaji, how easy were such details to remember? Were you penning down the daily happenings during those troublesome days, or the book is largely a recollection of episodes in solitude after you came out of that ordeal?
Seemaji, I didn't pen down anything, but when I sat down to write, and I could remember these small details also, because I think they were an important part, because even when the doctor was doing sonography or mammography, somehow in the initial stage, kind of beginning, you keep on oscillating between hope and despair, that शायद नहीं हो, शायद every सब चीज ठीक हो जाएगी. तो I kept looking at the expression, you know, और जब कोई expression नहीं मतलब positive सा मिलता है, तो you know कि नहीं, अब तो ठीक नहीं है, कुछ गड़बड़ है. So I remembered the things. That's how I was never maintaining. In fact, I'll tell you, मुझे तो बात करना भी पसंद नहीं था. मैं कीमो करा, I would come after the chemo, and none of the family members, you know, would ever ask me how was the day, how were you, or anything. I would just retire to my room, and I never wanted to talk about it except for my doctors. And here I would take the time to thank Dr. Harit Chaturvedi, who was my oncosurgeon, Dr. T.P. Sahu, my medical oncologist. I basically say I owe the second lease of life to them. Then I would say, like to mention Dr. Subodh Vashni, who held my hand and gave me a lot of moral support. Dr. Sunil Kumar, who is kind of took care of me and is still taking care of me after the treatment was over. Dr. Tiwari and Mrs. Tiwari for dishing out that lovely artificial hair for me in 2 days time, 3 days time, because that is the time losing my hair was something I could kind of never reconcile to. And I thought that now my world will come to an end, whatever fight I was putting up, because after the second chemo, they started going in big bunches. So I didn't know what to do. And the hair, once I got the hair back, that restored my confidence. And I would like to thank Chini for maintaining my hair for those 11 months. And one fine day she said, "Kini, ab bahut ho gaya, ab isko hatao." And then she went and gave it off in a hospital that it can be used by some person. So these are the thing. And of course, my wonderful family, they put up with me. I was very bad to them at times. You know, I tried to, they stuck around with me even when I literally pushed them away. I was very bad to them. I think I can say I was horrible at times, but they never completely. Your family is one thing, you know, they will always stand by you, no matter how good or bad. And they expect nothing in turn. My mother, old mother, she took care, and my sister, she took so much of leave that like almost uski to salary katne ki naubat aa gayi. My husband, I would like to mention, overnight from handling a very important assignment, he landed up in NCC, and people said, kya ho gaya, kyun aa gaye? They did dilly-dallying, some excuse, lame excuse he would give, because I had made everybody swear that nobody is going to talk about my illness to anybody. He used to make tea for me, cook a small meal, and earlier he didn't even know how to light the gas burner. And we massaged my feet, put up with my mood swings. Many times, like, I got annoyed with him when he would come for the radio. One day he came in his uniform. So I said, ki puri duniya ko pata lag jayega ki kaun hai. He would carry a spare dress, change it, come for my radio, then go back and change again. So I think every one of them, you know. And of course, I would like to mention my friend Anjali Tripathi. She was also one of the first persons to know. She, in fact, introduced me to Dr. Harit Chaturvedi, who was my oncosurgeon. She got me appointments. And then this thing, I would tell her that I want to go and meet him on a Thursday. I want my surgery to be on a Monday. And because of her, that Dr. Harit put up with, I will say today, with all such whims and fancies that I had. So,
this is actually, yeah.
I would also like to thank here, you know, since I'm giving thanks to all the people who were with me in this journey, I would like to thank Mr. Pramod Kapoor for writing such a wonderful foreword. Then Vidisha ji, my editor, because I told her, she said, we will edit on the computer. I said, no, we will read and edit over the telephone. So she put up with that. Then Priyanka for designing the cover, which is, I think, speaks volumes, the cover. And whole lot of people who were with me, my house helps, then people from my husband's parent regiment who came forward and extended a helping hand. Everyone, I would like to thank.
That's so lovely, and that's you have so many people, Mridula ji, and I think this disease, gave you an opportunity to know how much you are loved by your people. So it is a kind of, you know, what I would say that you will look back at these tough times as not as a price that destiny made you pay, but as a prize, you know, a kind of gain in life, as you know, something, as I mentioned earlier, like some rewards in several different ways. So you have already talked about your losing hair, and I remember when we had a conversation, you mentioned about how how difficult for you it was to
cried and hair. Cried and cried.
Yeah. So that was something that, you know, and I remember you mentioned this, you know, you remember the curl, you know, how your hair would curl on the ends on their own without the help of any curlers. So that was the toughest part, you said.
Here I would like to say that my mother, I think other than Mrinalini, and when I used to go to the hairdresser for the hair to be fixed, nobody has seen me without the hair. My husband has not seen, my mother has not seen, and Mrinalini took great pains, you know, to deck me up, you know, and send me to office. My eyelashes went, my eyebrows went, my nails fell off. I started putting on big danglers and eyeliner, and Mrinalini made 5 false, you know, eyebrows for me. And before each chemo, you know, my husband and Mrinalini would go and buy a new dress for me. And on the next day after the chemo, I would put on a new dress and go to office. So they did all this. And I would here also like to mention that I am very thankful to Dr. Shrikant Jain and Dr. Abha Jain. They took care of my family when I went for the surgery, and my Greffel for maintaining the blood counts had to be taken after each chemo. So they were kept in their hospital and they were very discreet about it, and चुपके से जाके मैं लगवा लेती थी. Once somebody mentioned also, तो he just said कि नहीं, she's got some vitamin B12 deficiency, that's why she comes for the injections. So for keeping my confidence close to the heart, and for even accompanying me to the hospital when my WBC counts came down to 618 or 611, Dr. Shrikant and Abha would come every day to visit me. So they also were a pillar of support, and he would always say कि नहीं सब ठीक हो जाएगा, सब ठीक हो जाएगा. So I think that सब ठीक हो जाएगा really came true in the end, and that fear never hit me. I think that एक जो डर होता है ना कि क्या हो गया. Of course, when the hair went, I just cried with Chini, and I said कि अब क्या होगा, अब तो सबको पता लग जाएगा. What will it?
You beautifully mentioned. I mean, I really appreciate Mrinalini and also congratulate her for looking after you so well. And of course, Chini, as all of us know her, she is actually, she has a very good sense of jewelry, kind of danglers, and I'm sure she must have got the best for you. So, right. And I really appreciate the concern on the part of your mother and your husband, to be so caring, and and that's exactly what one needs at this time. And yes, a beautiful feeling to even to read, the way you have. So Mridula ji, this question, actually generally cancer patients, get this feeling of being victim of fate, feeling of self-pity is generally unavoidable. How did you overcome this whiny question?
I've written it, I think, in chapter 2 or 3. When I went for my surgery, that surge of self-pity hit me, and I felt very sorry for myself. And I remembered Shelley, stanzas written in dejection. And I think after a time, I realized, whatever it is, I have to get up and fight. And after crying, I slept off. And when I got up, I think that self-pity had gone, because there's no point of self-pity. Of course, it did come to me. I told you, ma'am, that initially when it was diagnosed, I cried for 2 days. I didn't speak to anyone. That it is very natural, I think, with everyone. But then one has to rise above it. क्योंकि अब ये तो राह ऐसी है कि उसको तो पार करना ही है. And I said, it reminded me of that bridge in Northeast. You walk over it, and I've been with my husband, and he would say कि चलो चलो आओ, कुछ नहीं होता, चलो. तो I used to say नहीं मेरे को बहुत डर लगता है. तो he says नहीं अब एक आधा आ गई हो तो उस पार तो जाना ही है. So it reminded me of that. So yeah. God has been very kind. The doctors were good, my family, my friends, and all good wishes of my dear ones. And I think blessings of my elders, the good deeds, maybe my grandfather, my father did. Everything I think must have come to my help.
So, when you are just, feeling grateful for all this care that your family gave to you, Mrinalini is here. So can we ask Mrinalini to share her feelings on her, on her dear mother's journey on this special day? Mrinalini, would you like to speak something?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for organizing this so beautifully. I was like, it came as a shock to all of us, and we were not prepared for it. And when she was diagnosed in 2017, I was dreaming that maybe after my master's I can go abroad and for my PhD and everything, and I was really working hard towards that. So it really came as a shock, and we didn't know what to do, because I feel cancer is something we hear that, it can happen to anybody, it happens to people, but we never expect that this deadly disease would hit us or our loved ones. So it is something that we know that it can happen to anybody, but we never expect that it could any day hit us or our family members. So of course it was a big shock for all of us. But I remember Dr. Shrikant Jain, Shrikant uncle, he came home when my mother tested positive for the biopsy, and he told me that don't worry, it is diagnosed at quite an initial stage, she will recover. And I think that was September, and he said, you know, till Diwali your mother is going to be fine, because I was really on the verge of crying. So I really took his words. He said that, you know, it can be easily cured and everything, and we'll arrange the best possible doctors. And of course, frankly speaking, she's blessed to have such beautiful and such supportive doctor friends. I mean, who kind of supported her throughout the journey. Because be it Dr. Harik, Dr. Shrikant Jain, Dr. Anurag Tiwari, of course. I mean, Dr. Anurag Tiwari, especially because for her, losing the hair was a great loss. And he kind of dished out the wig in 2 or 3 days. And then even like initially, we didn't know how to maintain the wig. I mean, I was very harsh with the hair, like I am with my hair. So like Dr. Tiwari, like he connected me with the person who's made the wig, and I learned it from him how to kind of shampoo the hair, how to comb them properly so that it doesn't get damaged. So I think she's got great friends, doctor friends, and of course now I'm happy. I actually heard about a lot of people who were diagnosed with cancer and they were in a state of denial, because of which unfortunately their life wasn't saved. So I asked her to pen it down. Initially she was very reluctant, but then I asked her that please pen it down. It can be a source of inspiration for other people. And she agreed to it, and I'm just happy that this book is going to be launched today, and I'm sure that it can be a source of inspiration for all those people who are battling this deadly disease. And I hope that one day, I sincerely pray, I've been telling this to my mom, that I hope one day we find a vaccination for cancer as well, so that this disease should not take a toll on anyone's life anymore.
Thanks, Mrinalini. Thanks for those, words that defy any, classification. I mean, you have love for your mother. You have concern for entire humanity. So, what more to ask? I think, your mother is fortunate to have you as a daughter, and you are fortunate to have her as your mother. So, Neha, can we go ahead with the
unveiling of the book? Yeah, I just would like to add, if somebody wants to put up a question to the author, they can type in the chat box. We can deal with it when the launch is over. So, okay. I request Seemaji Vikasar and Kaus Mridulaji to unveil this very beautiful book. We have the screen. I request you to keep it in front. That makes it look better. Yes.
Can you see? Because if I move the book, it's going to lose. So I have to put it somewhere. Is it all right?
Can open it, please, all three.
Yeah. So congratulations, Mridula ji. And to all who have been a part of Mridula ji's journey. And lovingly she has mentioned each and everyone who has made a contribution in his or her own way in her, fight against cancer. So I'll just, so now that the book has been unveiled, I will just read a very short passage from the book. First, the kind of introduction that is written by Mridula ji. And it goes like this. Every season has a special beauty. Between September 2017 to February 2018, I witnessed monsoon, winter, and autumn. The trees slowly turned from green to a variety of red, yellow, and gold. I had survived so many seasons, and finally, I bet the illness. Even though it was the time when trees were shedding their leaves, there was a brilliance about them. This beauty was not a sign of decay, but that of the loveliest season. There is some beauty in every falling leaf, and that is how new leaves grow. This is what she beautifully written, and that explains her approach to life, her approach to the difficult times that she has seen. So Neha, please take it forward from here.
Thank you, Seema. Thank you for such a beautiful hosting session. Thank you for all those emotional notes, Mridula ji. We all learned a lot from this book and your experience. With all that, I request you all to please order this book from Amazon, Flipkart, and Manjul website. Otherwise, the book is also available at Variety Bookstore, Loyal Book Depot, and Chandna Book House. Before we have a special song for you all, I like Mrinalini again to come up and give the thank you note.
We can have some questions, Neha. Let's have.
I saw the chat. It's full of appreciation.
Yeah. I think they can ask. I think they can raise hand and ask questions. It's for our reading, so it will be nice. We still have time.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Hello.
Yes, sir, please.
Neha ji, can you hear me?
Yes.
My husband has joined.
He must be joined.
Husband joined much before. I think I was amongst the first when I joined. There were barely 10 of you. You had not joined.
See you.
There can never be any book launch or any event in the family where my dad doesn't speak, so he has to speak.
Yeah.
No, it's not exactly for speaking. Two things. Firstly, heartiest congratulations. मैंने अभी चैट में यही डाला था कि भाई भगवान आपकी लेखनी इसी तरह चलती रहे और आप लिखती रहें, लोगों को मोटिवेट करती रहें. मैं खुद जिंदगी में बहुत मोटिवेटेड रहा हूं आपसे, तो आप इसी तरह मोटिवेट करती रहें. मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है कि और भी लोग मोटिवेट हुए होंगे और होते रहेंगे. तो हार्टिएस्ट कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशंस. I have been kind of witness to it. Probably we are the closest. See her tiding over it. I am not knowingly using the word winning over it. No, let's respect that. Let's not challenge anybody and anything. But yes, tiding over it, tiding over this crisis. I have been a close witness. Of course, all of us, as she was mentioning. So, heartiest congratulations. And I'm very sure and I'm very confident that we all will come out of it. You have thanked everybody. I also take this opportunity that everybody who helped us, many of them didn't know, many of them knew. So heartiest congratulations to you. My gratitude to all of them. And let me not take too much of time. Only one complaint, Vikas ji, I hope you are hearing me. Hello? Hello?
Yes,
Vikas
I
ji,
can hear
me?
you. Yes, I can hear you.
Vikas ji, what I'm missing is the book launch के बाद वाली चीज है, चाय परेड. मुझे लगा कि मैंने अभी अपने लिए एक कप चाय तो बुला ली, मैंने कहा चलो मैं यही पी लेता हूँ. But I think we must say it is pending. When the pandemic will permit, we are going to have at least a chai parade after that. Okay, that was in the right of
Cheers.
Good evening to everybody. I can say a whole lot of people. The memories were, with me of all the book launches that we have had. familiar faces and everybody very nice, of course. So this chai parade is pending. We shall definitely organize one. And thank you once again. Thank you everybody for joining. Thank you Chini. Thank you Ruby. Congratulations. और भगवान आपकी लेखनी को इसी तरह चलाते रहे. और
मुझे लगा तुम क्वेश्चन पूछने वाले हो. मुझे लगा तुम क्वेश्चन पूछने वाले हो.
अरे भैया दुनिया का कौन इंसान है जो अपनी पत्नी से क्वेश्चन पूछ सकता है? मुझे the men out here will agree. तो क्वेश्चन तो पूछने का सवाल ही नहीं है. But congratulations.
I'm happy that you could join. पूरी दुनिया में घूम रहे हो तुम.
हाँ चलो नहीं. How could I again? Could I afforded not to join? Not exactly. And heartiest congratulations. और भगवान आपको सही सलामत रखे. आप ऐसी लिखती रहें, लोगों को मोटिवेट करती रहें, ये मेरी प्रार्थना है.
क्वेश्चन के लिए टाइम तो छोड़ो, किसी ने पूछना है तो.
चलो आप बिल्कुल. ओके, थैंक यू नेहा जी. आई एम थ्रू.
Thank you sir, nice to see you. So there's a question here asking about the story behind the cover. So I'm sure designer made it, but ma'am, did you have any thoughts on cover?
Definitely, I had told Priyanka ji that as Seema ji had also asked me, that as a small child, I used to play under the jacaranda tree, and the jacaranda tree and jacaranda flowers have a lot of pleasant memories for me. And I used to carry those flowers to my father and give it to him, and he would always say that I have a handful of purple sky in my arms. So that's how the title came. And of course, Priyanka ji designed the cover. Of course, she put in a lot of hard work.
Of course. And then Rashmi Bhargava ji has written a question. What was the happiest moment during the treatment?
I think the happiest moment was when my chemo got over, and then when my radio got over. Of course, surgery, I was too, I would say, numb to feel anything. Just after 24 hours, I walked out of the hospital and I was carrying the drain on my body. So I was only looking forward कि जल्दी से 8 दिन निकले तो ये हटे.
We really appreciate you sharing this journey with us. For someone who has written about low moments, I think you should read the book. It clearly defines all about her journey. And I read the book, and the first thought which I had was like, she's so thankful to everybody. She's thanked people in almost every chapter for all the help she has received. Seema ji, can I just move on to the video?
Sure. Yeah, please.
So the books are available for you to purchase. Please do buy. And this is a special song which Seema ji pointed out to play. So we'll just give me a moment, sorry.
There's no sound, Neha.
One more.
Yeah, at least we got to read the lyrics. Just a beautiful.
Very nice of Seema ji. Very lovely song.
So
I'm sorry, I don't know why I did not.
It's okay. It's okay. So yeah, Neha, I mean, if there are more questions coming in, we can take a couple of questions before we end. Or if you're
There's a lot of people are asking where can we purchase. So I had said earlier it's like available on Flipkart. Yes, sir, please. Yes.
Well, congratulations, ma'am. For many and for all, it may be a book launch, but I can say today you have been emancipated from the fear of cancer, and today you have really conquered your disease and the fear related to it. So I don't think from now onwards you need a doctor. You are cured. So congratulations for that. So this book release is basically, I relate it with your emancipation from this fear of this disease that must have gripped you from the very beginning. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Sunil. Here, this was Dr. Sunil Kumar, my onco. And as I mentioned during the course of the session also, that he's been taking care of me, all my 4 monthly checkups and all those things. And even during the pandemic, any problem, anything, he's always there. And it's thank you, Dr. Sunil.
So Neha, if if there are no more questions.
Neha, I think there was a question about if she felt some low moment. Yes,
yes,
many of them. But what is more important is that how she handled those low moments.
There's a question I can see on the screen.
Yes.
How you kept yourself strong, madam? What you used to do when I can only answer to that. I had immense faith in God, and as I said, that there's this little girl in me still, who believes in Gudiya Ki Shadi and Balloon Wala and Budiya Ke Bal Wala, and I feel there's a romance to life. The sky is still above my head, there is green grass under my feet, and whenever there is rain, there will be the rainbow.
अभी उस सुबह की भी चाय रखी है नहीं पल्लो नहीं
Somebody's mic is on. Neha, you have to mute. Yeah, please, Neha, you have to mute. Yes. Yeah, Mridulaji, please go ahead. And I also remember you have mentioned some do's and don'ts. Towards the end.
You have to be very positive and never. I think, and forgiveness is one thing that I learned. Forgiveness, that we all have our ups and downs, and we try to blame someone for that. That once you forgive, you heal. And forgiveness is important, and kindness is another thing I think that I learned largely from my father. He was kind to so many people. Seema ji would have read in the book, and there's an urgent need I felt to do something for others, because you pass this way but once, and keeping a positive state of mind, believe in God, and taking care of others, all those things help a lot.
Those are really positive words. I mean, this is a story about cancer, but the book has a positive feel because of the message behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a great inspiration, and I would I think I wish that people read whether suffering from cancer or not. But then it is such a guide, because it doesn't just, as Neha just mentioned. I mean, Mridula also just mentioned that it is not about the kind of suffering, but the kind of those very vital things in life. It talks about those things. So, and we all are in need of those things, like love and gratitude and forgiveness, as just Mridulaji mentioned. So I think it gives us an opportunity to value these things in life more. And I feel there is a in my own case, I would just share that when my surgeon told me, you just forget about this as a bad dream. He told me once, and I told him, it's not a bad dream. It's something, the days are so they have they become memorable because of certain positivity that we take back from those moments, from those days of suffering. All right, Neha. So I hand over to you with the thanks to Mridulaji for bringing out the book once again, and your family and friends. Yeah.
Thank you. I would like to thank also. She took a lot of pains for this session of coordinating with everybody and everything. So thank you, Mrinalini. And thank you, ma'am, for writing yet again a masterpiece. And I'm sure this will do a lot well. With this, I'll.
And I also want to speak something.
Okay. Please go ahead.
Heartiest congratulations, Mridula, for the new book.
Oh, thank you.
I think we lost her connection. So anyway,
great mother and a great wife.
So thank you all for participating. We had a lot of more than 100 participants at once. So thank you all for patiently going through this session, being part of this journey. Thank you all. I thank you all from my alma mater, Amaryllis, and Club Literati, which has been always very supportive of all the books we have collaborated with them. Thank you, Seema ji, for your precious time and inputs for this session and this book. And thank you all for being part of this memorable session. It is a very touchy book, you'll feel a lot of things, feel the journey Mridula ji has had over the period of her treatment. Thank you all for being here. And with this note, I'll just sign off. Thank you all.
Thank you.